So if you want to compare this episode of Raw to the Royal Rumble on Sunday night, man, what a relief that was. Hey, and hey, what's up and how's it going, all MRBers? Well, I'm so glad that you have took your time to spend with me right here today on the Mick Rock and Bolt Wrestling Review Show. I'm your co-host, Mike Mick Rock Wilson, and last night was WWE Monday Night Raw. And this is the Raw episode after the Royal Rumble where the fans just butchered the hell out of on Sunday night. So the WWE had to make up for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view event. Did they do it? To an extent, I think they did. But overall, it was just an okay show. But what I did like is how the show kicked off. The show kicked off last night when the Authority came out, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and they were basically playing off how the people felt after the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I like how Triple H said, "Oh, did someone not get what they want?" You know, little things like that, playing out the audience. Little fan interaction was good throughout that promo, and basically what happened was that Stephanie McMahon talked about the matches that happened at the Royal Rumble, such as the Brock Lesnar and Big Show match, as well as the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, and then after that, Stephanie McMahon announces that Randy Orton will be defending his title against 5 other guys in the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view event in 2 weeks' time. And after that, Daniel Bryan came out. What happened was that Daniel Bryan cut a really good promo. It felt very real. It came from real emotions. I like how he stated his grievances on the show, basically telling the Authority, listen to the fans, listen to the Yes Movement, and basically telling the Authority to give them what they want, give them what they pay for. They paid to see Daniel Bryan. I like how Daniel Bryan had the fan interaction with the audience as well as the Authority throughout the entire thing. And like I said, Daniel Bryan cut a realistic promo. It felt very real. And what happened was that the Authority countered and said that we didn't want you in the Royal Rumble match because we were concerned about your well-being and your health. And later on, Daniel Bryan said that he wants in the Elimination Chamber match. And shortly after that, Triple H kind of sicked on the Shield on the Daniel Bryan. It was, kind of expected. I would rather see the element of surprise when the Shield came out. It's something that, it's supposed to be unexpected, but, it was just obvious for them to come out after Triple H said, "You're not going to be alone. There's going to be people gunning for you." So he was expecting that attack, and so was I when I was watching this segment. I was expecting the Shield to come out after Triple H said that, "I'm going to stick my boys on you." And that's pretty much basically what he said. And then when the Shield attacked 3-on-1, out came Sheamus and out came John Cena. And they booked the match later on. It will be John Cena, Sheamus, and Daniel Bryan versus the Shield. And the winners of this match will qualify for the Elimination Chamber match itself. Now, the only little issue I have with it is that I would rather see single individual matches to qualify instead of a tag team match, because the individual aspect is kind of thrown out of the way, and now they have to qualify in a tag team match, which kind of makes me think that they want to rush this pay-per-view, and I don't blame them. It is in 2 weeks' time, but still, come on. You have to in order to book an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view event involving 5 other guys with the champion, is have single qualifying matches. It would feel more realistic in that sense, instead of having a tag team match to qualify. So I'm a little 50-50 split on it, and I will get to the main event later on this review from Monday Night Raw. After that, we saw a couple of tag team matches. Now, what I do like is that sometimes the WWE knows what they're doing when it comes to their tag teams. Case in point, the Real Americans and the Usos. We saw the Real Americans take on Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. It was an okay match, and like I said, all these matches that happened at Raw were nothing really special, nothing out of the ordinary really popped out. So it was a so-so match. But what I do like is how the WWE is booking their tag teams and how they're giving the Real Americans and the Usos time on the show to see what they can do, and basically have these two tag teams look credible to be contenders for the tag team championships. The Real Americans bet Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara, and the Usos bet Ryback and Curtis Axel. And the Usos, week after week after week, have been looking great on Raw. And even though the Real Americans have been treated a little bit poorly in the when it comes to the tag team division, I like what they've done this week with the Real Americans. Have them go over Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. So with that said, I enjoy what the WWE is doing with those two tag teams going forth to WrestleMania. I could see a situation where the New Age Outlaws defend the title against both teams and have then make that a triple threat elimination match at WrestleMania for the tag team titles. So we'll see what happens in the weeks to come leading up to WrestleMania. Also, we saw Fandango versus R-Truth, and this was, a longer match than Fandango versus Xavier Woods. And basically what happened was that R-Truth got the victory, and I'm really worried about Fandango's career. I can't see him go anywhere. Ever since his concussion, he hasn't been the same. And it kind of, works both ways. When you have a concussion, you're not the same in your head. Once you have that concussion, that's pretty much your downfall. The same thing happened to Dolph Ziggler. And with that said, Fandango just hasn't been looking all that credible one single bit. The loss doesn't help his career at all. R-Truth is a guy that really doesn't need to win or lose any matches as long as the fans basically get what they want out of R-Truth and Xavier Woods. I will mention that Xavier Woods on commentary, I noticed that he shaved his mustache. I thought that was interesting. And as well as Emma in the audience doing the whole Evolution thing. And basically, I'm waiting now on Emma's debut to see when that will take place. I'm surprised that Alexander Rusev was not on the show after his performance at the Royal Rumble. To me, that was questionable because WWE should have capitalized on Alexander Rusev's debut on Royal Rumble and followed through on it on Raw, and they didn't. I'm kind of disappointed at that. And that's another issue I had with the show. And like I said, it was an okay Raw. Moving on, we had Brad Maddox coming out and introducing Randy Orton. Randy Orton came out basically saying that he won the championship at the Royal Rumble. And he also talked about how ticked off he is about competing in the Elimination Chamber match with 5 other superstars, and that he demand respect from the audience and the authority. And after that, Batista came out, and I like the little things. I like that Batista pointed at the Boo Batista sign. I mean, it's better than flipping the audience off. You don't want, your babyface flipping off the audience. It sets a bad example when it comes to the whole babyface face heel aspects of the superstars on Raw. And I'm surprised that they let Batista do that, and I understand there's heat with Batista, so I guess the WWE basically decided to tell Batista, don't be flipping off the audience. It's not great. It's unprofessional, and that's probably what happened. It's like the authority telling Batista, just take a breather, take a step back, and go out there and do face things instead of heel things. It doesn't make sense to his face character that he won the Rumble match, even though they booed the hell out of him. And so, like I said, Batista, just keep what you're doing now instead of what you were doing at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view event. That's all I got to say about that. And what happened was that Batista cut a promo. He said that nothing's going to change. The main event sticks, that he will be in contention for the championship against Randy Orton if that does happen at WrestleMania. And what happened was that Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar came out and interrupted Batista, and basically telling Paul Heyman telling the authority that you have two options at this point, because Brock Lesnar is crowned the unofficial #1 contender, that he could either face Randy Orton on Raw or Batista. Now, I like how they played on it, but in the same time, how they done it as well was questionable, and I'll get to that later on this review. The only little issue I have with it is that if one of the matches does follow through, I would be surprised they would actually have it on free TV instead of a pay-per-view, and it wouldn't make sense for Brock Lesnar to face a heel like Randy Orton for the championship, because the fans just won't know who to cheer for, and you want to save Brock Lesnar versus Batista for that one big show like WrestleMania. Other than that, like I said, I'll get to what happened later on with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. After that, we saw The Miz go one-on-one with Dolph Ziggler in a Battle of Cleveland match, and I like how Dolph Ziggler is how they portrayed Dolph Ziggler. They never said he's built in Hollywood, Florida. I like how they brought up that he was actually born in Cleveland, Ohio. So little things like that I didn't enjoy, but for the love of God, is The Miz a babyface or a heel? I mean, it's weird, twisted logic where you have these two guys who are from Cleveland battle in this match, and The Miz is not getting the reaction he's supposed to be getting. He's supposed to be a heel, but he's doing babyface things, and to me that's a real issue. The Miz, to me, is still that reality phony guy and does not belong in the ring, and that's all I have to say about that. And the audience was having their fun with the Cleveland Rocks chants, the Cleveland Sucks chants, etc., etc., etc. At the end, Dolph Ziggler won the match, and it was nothing special. Nothing special really happened, and that basically was the theme of the night. Nothing out of the ordinary when it came to the matches that happened on the card. After that, we saw Kofi Kingston versus Alberto Del Rio, and to me, this is the match that no one really cares about, because Kofi Kingston's career is absolutely going nowhere, and Alberto Del Rio really fizzled out. So why should we care about this one-on-one match? Even though it was a decent wrestling match, it was nothing special. What happened was that throughout the match, the audience was bored. They started chanting other people's names. They chanted JBL. He stood up and he went, hey, and the crowd went, hey, and stuff like that. And the same thing happened with Jerry the King Lawler. He stood up after they chanted his name. I mean, it's one thing for the announcers to bring up the whole Twitter thing, but it's another when the focus is on them. And I don't blame Alberto Del Rio for getting ticked off with JBL when he stood up, because the focus should be what's going on inside the ring instead of what's going on with the commentators. And I think the commentators like JBL and Jerry the King Lawler really done something really stupid. They put the focus on them instead of the actual match that's happening in the ring. They want to draw what's going on inside the ring with Alberto Del Rio and Kofi Kingston, even though it's a match that no one cares about. For the love of God, commentators, don't ever do that again. It's bad enough with the whole Twitter thing, but that whole standing up thing after your name was chanted is completely different. And for the love of God, just don't ever do that again, please. After that, we saw the New Age Outlaws take on Cody Rhodes and Goldust in their rematch for the World Tag Team Championships. And before the match happened, Road Dogg came out and done his whole shtick with the whole ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages promo. And what I like is that even though they're heels, they're the tag team champions, they're the heels. You still get, that fan base where they like them. So they're, on one side they're heels, on another side there's people that still like them because of what the Road Dogg is saying in the ring with the whole tag team champions of the world, the Road Dogg Jesse James, the badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. So that whole stick with the Road Dogg still works, even though he's a heel, because it shows that they're having fun. And has Billy Gunn aged at all? And with that out of the way, those two guys, I think, really never missed a beat. It was a good wrestling match overall. What happened at the end was that Brock Lesnar came out and basically destroyed Cody Rhodes and Goldust. To me, that was understandable, but in the same time, questionable as well. How they, how would I put it, portrayed the ending of the match. The match was actually going good until, you killed it. And basically what happened was that Paul Heyman cut another promo and said, Option 3, Brock Lesnar faces no one. And that's basically what happened. And I like that Brock Lesnar is not facing Randy or Batista on Raw, because, it's kind of spoiling what could be a good pay-per-view quality match. And so I like that Brock Lesnar is not facing anyone on Raw. That's just something you have to have on a special occasion, like a pay-per-view event like WrestleMania. So, in that sense, I like that they've done it. How they done it, to me, was questionable, because you want to develop a small seed planting between Cody Rhodes and Goldust to see what was going to happen with those two, because I was more interested to see what was going to happen in the closing moments of that match, to see if the WWE will plant some seeds into a potential split between Cody Rhodes and Goldust to help build that match for WrestleMania. But I like that they're holding off on it for now. And I hence the words "for now" because it's a little too early. Even though there's 10 weeks from now to WrestleMania, you want to take your time with it. And I think that this is something they shouldn't rush. And we'll see where it goes with Cody Rhodes and Goldust, as well as this whole thing with Brock Lesnar. And there's a big question mark as well of who's going to face who at WrestleMania. To me, signs are pointing to Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker based on what happened with Brock Lesnar on tonight's Raw. Also on the show, we saw the Bella Twins and the Funkadactyls take on AJ Lee, Tamina, Hoxana, and Alicia Fox. And to me, this was, a so-so match. The issue I have with it is that you have AJ lose again on Raw. It's bad enough for AJ Lee to win every single pay-per-view and successfully defend her Divas Championship. And it's another thing to have her lose pretty much on every Raw. And it makes her less credible week after week after week. I mean, what's the problem of AJ Lee winning a match on Raw? Absolutely none. And on the other side of it, you have Naomi as well. I can understand, you want to build up this match between AJ Lee and Naomi, but having AJ Lee being the one to be pinned, I would rather see Alicia Fox be the one that Naomi goes over to have momentum going into a potential one-on-one match with AJ Lee instead of the WWE burying AJ Lee and have her pinned in the match. That's what I would rather see instead of having Naomi go over AJ Lee. I would rather see Naomi pin someone like Asana or Alicia Fox or Tamina in that match. And just to help build up that match within the weeks to come. And like I said in my prediction video of the Royal Rumble, to me the whole AJ Lee being the Divas champion is really starting to fizzle out more, and it's because she loses week after week on Raw, and it's time for a change. Put the belt on Naomi and have a fresh start as a Divas champion. And to me, Naomi is the only one right now that looks credible to be the Divas champion, so why not just give her the belt? We also got the news that the next Hall of Famer in the 2014 Hall of Fame is Jake the Snake Roberts. I am loving what the WWE is doing with the Hall of Fame. The Ultimate Warrior, and now Jake the Snake Roberts. Things are looking up for Jake the Snake Roberts. Years ago, he was rehabbing with his drug and drinking problems, and now he's come to terms with the WWE. I like that Triple H is, coming back with old acquaintances and getting these guys clean and having them come on the show and give their Hall of Fame speeches at the Hall of Fame ceremony. I love that Jake the Snake is in the Hall of Fame, and the Hall of Fame, even though there's two guys already in it, looks great. Absolutely looks fantastic. And the main event was John Cena, Sheamus, Daniel Bryan versus The Shield. And even though this match to me is completely one-sided, it's going to be interesting to see if anything is going to happen if the Shield splits up. Is there going to be a seed planted for them? Because we haven't saw any signs of Cody Rhodes and Goldust, so I guess we'll see something with the Shield. Not really. What happened was that basically this match, was a good way to end end off the show, I guess. And I guess, what happened was that at the end, the Wyatt family came out and attacked John Cena, and costing the Shield the match by disqualification, and having Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, and John Cena win by disqualification in order to get in the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view event. To me, that really fell flat, very flat. You really don't book your guys to gain momentum and have them win by disqualification. Are you kidding? What's that? That's like weird twisted logic, in my opinion, to have 3 guys to qualify by disqualification. By disqualification! You just don't do that. You have them win clean to qualify. You don't disqualification the other team for the other team to win, because it just devalues the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And to me, John Cena is a filler guy. So is Sheamus. And Daniel Bryan, I hope the love of God he wins the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view event. For the love of God, just do it. And basically, what happened at the end of the show is that there's a lot of question marks. And a couple of big ones at that. There's this idea that the Shield could face the Wyatt family, or John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. I don't know where the WWE is going with this, but to me there is more questions left after I watched this show than answers. And overall, the show was, like I said, an okay match. It was redemption to an extent. It was a better show than the Royal Rumble, and I'm surprised that the fans weren't ticked off even more after the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, showing their emotions on Raw. So my question to you is, what did you think of last night's Monday Night Raw? Comment below and let me know. And while you're at it, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. And to all you viewers watching, get plenty of rest and always do your best.